right. Do you want to introduce us? Do you want to go in and say, hey, what's up? How do you want to do it? You want me to kick us off? What do you want to do?
Man, I'll kick us off, dude. Let me fucking show you how it's done, bruh.
Okay. Whoa.
What's up, y'all? Welcome. Sorry. I'm rusty.
You start at like a 10, so there's nowhere to go from there. So I feel like
right,
you do
right,
that, and then we're just like, your face is red, you're hyperventilating, and we're just like,
all right, scratch that intro, scratch the intro. Let's start again. All right, what's up, everyone, and welcome to the Blind Judgment Podcast. I am your favorite co-host on the planet. They call me J-Lo, the one and only Jonathan. Oh, sorry. And I am here with my favorite girl. Her name is
Allie.
And we're here to bring you another dope episode of the Blind Judgment Podcast.
Ooh. All right. Well, Jonathan, what have we... I don't know how to do this. What have we been up to lately? Let's catch our listeners up to speed.
Yeah, I guess it's been a minute. People have been asking where we've been. Season 2's been a little slower than we would have liked, but we've been putting in work in the background. Ain't that right?
We sure have. We've got some new goals that we have set up. We had a come to Jesus moment. And I think that we are pretty refreshed. We're ready to put out new content. We're ready to put out more content. So... exciting things to be looking out for.
Yeah, we're going to definitely be coming at y'all with more regular episodes. So you can at least count on us for once a week. So that's pretty intense for our schedule, I feel like, since this is a hobby. But
we're pumped. We're ready to push ourselves.
Exactly.
So I'm glad to be back in this gig. So yeah, what have we been up to? What did we do freaking last weekend? Hint, hint, what did we do last weekend?
Well, you went on your first Texas tubing trip.
I did, yeah.
And we actually, this is you joined me and my boy Brandon. It's a tradition that we have to go tubing on Memorial Day weekend. And I know what everybody's thinking out there. They're hearing tubing, Memorial Day weekend. That sounds like a nightmare. And I'm right there with you. I used to hate tubing. It gets packed, people are drunk, and it's hot, and it's crowded, and it's just not really fun. Not my style. But Brandon taught me the way. And the way is go super early before anybody gets there. And so that's what we've been doing for the last 4 years. And it's beautiful. It's awesome. It's relaxing. It's chill until a party comes blaring music behind you. But, it is what it is. But no. So we went on that this Memorial Day weekend. It was great. You tagged along this time.
Yeah, I did.
And I'll ask you here what you thought of it. But I just wanted to add one last thing. And that is that we went in a duo tube.
That's right. We got the duo tube, the couch of the river.
So, yeah, the couch of the river. I legit had to call my friend Brandon to ask if that was okay or if he was going to make fun of me for the rest of my life for showing up in a duo tube couch, river couch. But no, he approved it, and I'm glad we got it. I thought it was pretty dope. It was very comfortable.
It was very comfy. I enjoyed it.
Yeah. So, but anyways, what did you think?
Well, I used the keyword weekend because we saw the movie by the weekend. Hurry up.
Oh, you didn't even want me to talk about the river?
I didn't care. I just was like, I was giving you a jump off, okay? I was trying to boost you, but we saw the movie by the weekend. It was actually pretty decent. I wanted to see it because I love The Weeknd, and we watched his series The Idol, which is kind of a goofy, kooky, unintentionally goofy and kooky series on HBO Max that The Weeknd put together. I don't want to talk about this.
We're not recommending it. Yeah, we're not recommending this show at all. But anyways, we did go see Hurry Up Tomorrow.
Have you seen anything else recently that you want to comment on?
No.
Okay, because I do.
Okay.
I watched Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. Okay.
The new one or the original?
Hell no. The original one. The only one that needed to have ever been made with Gene Wilder. Okay.
Is this the first time you saw it?
No, I've watched it a million times. I've seen it my whole life.
Okay.
But I watched it recently, like as an adult. And I'll say this. I'm watching it. I'm thinking to myself, Willy Wonka's marketing strategy is kind of a sleigh. All right. He got his product like literally flying off the shelves. Okay. Like people were purchasing this stuff to get the golden ticket. He is just raking in the dough. No wonder he was able to retire after this whole thing, because he had made so much dang money for the promos. It's genius. It should be studied. So he didn't care if he left his dying company to some dumbass kid who lives in a bucket because he was rich.
Is this going to lead to like the marketing plans for Blind Judgment, or are you just...
Pretty much. I don't know. I just wanted to talk about it.
No, that's interesting. I don't remember too much of that movie. I guess I don't remember last time I watched it, but I do want to see the new one with what's his name? With
Johnny Depp?
No, with it's called Wonka with the new guy.
Oh no, that's a prequel with Timothy Chalamet.
Yeah, that one.
Mugad'Dib.
Wait, there's a Johnny Depp version?
Yes, made by Tim Burton.
Oh,
it's atrocious.
Well, I mean, we watch bad movies apparently, so we should just
we do live for it.
Add that to the list. But no, another thing we did during the weekend is we had a pod day, which was a meeting, or as Allie would call it, a come to Jesus moment.
Bro, we already talked about this.
I was scratching that. We scratched the first time we talked about it. Now we're bringing it up again. This is all over.
I'm sorry. Place. It's hard to keep track. My back is tired from having to carry this intro.
All right. Well, you're gonna have to carry it because I got Friday brain, and I'm liable to not remember things that you tell me. I ended my day having to talk to somebody about an email because I was like, I don't understand this email, and they're like, bro, it just says this, and I was like, okay.
You know, my brain is just like fried right now.
Yeah, I can't take no more, but I do have this.
All right. Well, instead of banter, you can just clank your cowbell. How about that?
All my commentary will just be cowbell for this episode.
More cowbell. More cowbell.
Why is it so dark in your house?
Because I feel like I look terrible in the like lighting. I mean, if you want, I can turn my lights on. I just feel like I look like crap. Then the lighting makes me look even worse.
You look lovely,
you want the lights on?
I don't care. I can see you. I was just wondering. I was like, is this how you're just chilling in your house all the time? It's kind of depressing.
No, I have the lights on, but with a fucking front-facing camera, I look ghoulish.
Where are you at right now?
Oh my God, don't even fucking get me started. So I had my whole setup upstairs. I go upstairs. It's 81 degrees. Okay? AC not working. It's barely working down here. So it's just cooler. So I had to just move everything. So I'm sitting in my window in my room. I wanted to sit in my sitting area, like in the front, but when I tested it with my mic, even with the noise gate, it was just very echoey. So I had to like manipulate my noise gate so much that it sounded really funky because it's just so echoey in there. So then I was like, well, maybe I can sit in the breakfast nook where we ate. But then that didn't work either. So then I was like, well, the only carpet that I have downstairs is in my room. So I'm sitting in my room. It's a very awkward setup. It's not preferable. I'm not pleased.
I understand. Well, I appreciate what you're doing for the Blind Judgment podcast, and I know our listeners will appreciate it.
One could only hope.
Well, anyways, that's enough of that. Now it's time to get into today's episode.
Hell yeah. Hurry up tomorrow. Maybe more like hurry up this episode. Am I right?
All right.
Let's get into it. Okay. So before we get into the case, let me ask you a question.
I hope it's not, have you heard of this lady or person, because I suck at those questions.
No, because that's busted, boring, overdone. I'm going to ask you this.
Mm-hmm.
What was the first experience or action that made you feel like you'd entered adulthood?
Ooh. Well, I did leave you a voice message today about me clipping a coupon out of the newspaper with scissors.
So it's recently? This is in the recent.
No, but I guess that's the first moment I felt like a grandpa. But I guess the first moment I felt like an adult, it was when I bought my first bed. So this was like when I got my first apartment, living on my own after I got my first job after college. And for a little while there, I had like just loaner couch, like loaner bed. Like I had not to that point bought any furniture. And then there came a point where I had to buy a bed. And I forgot what was going on with my bed, but it was just time to upgrade. And so, yeah, I think buying a bed, I remember being like, man, that was a lot of money. I never thought I would spend this much money on a bed instead of something like video games or whatever else I was into at the time. So I'm going to say buying a bed.
Okay.
Is that what you were not expecting? Was that the lamest answer ever?
No, I think it's a good answer. And I asked you that because it kind of ties into our case this week. We are covering the disappearance of Natalee Holloway.
Oh, Natalee Holloway.
Yes. So I feel like you would know what this case is. It's one of the most prolific true crime cases in the last 20-ish years. So I'll give you a little teaser, like a little top line. So Natalee Holloway was an 18-year-old honor student who disappeared while she was on her school graduation trip to Aruba.
Okay.
Do you know much else about the case outside of that? I mean, it happened around the time that you graduated high school. It happened in 2005.
No, I know absolutely nothing about the case.
Okay. Got it. I mean, I feel like that's kind of surprising because it was really like everywhere at the time. And I mean, not just at that time. I feel like when you think about true crime, there are like certain photos or certain images that you just like associate with that subject. It's like the picture of JonBenet Ramsey, OJ, the car chase Bronco, and Natalee's senior picture. It's like the picture of her. She's like a really beautiful blonde girl with the off-the-shoulder black dress. I don't know. I feel like that photo was everywhere at that time.
Okay, and I'm just doing a little Google searching here, and it looks like Aruba is in the Caribbean Sea,
Did
north
you
of
not know where Aruba was?
Venezuela was. Hell no, I didn't. I went to public school, girl. Come on now. So I'm looking at it. It's a tiny little island. It's very, very cute. Just kidding.
It's cute. Okay. And if you need me to provide any more details about Aruba, we'll get there. Okay.
Okay.
So I think with that, let's just go ahead and dive into the case. Okay.
Let's do it.
So Natalee Holloway was born in Memphis, Tennessee on October 21st, 1986. She's the first of two children born to Dave and Beth Holloway. Her parents ended up getting a divorce, and in the year 2000, her mom, Beth, remarries, and she married this guy, Jug Twitty.
Jug Twitty?
Jug Twitty is his name.
Is he a juggalo?
There were a lot of absolutely insane names when I was researching this. One person's first name was Taco.
That
all have to guy.
That they these people all have something to do with the story?
Not the story I'm going to tell you. They're either investigators or reporters. There's a guy named Taco. There's a guy named Sir Cock. So a lot of interesting names within this story.
Okay.
But so Jug, our boy Jug Twitty, he is a well-connected businessman from Alabama. So her mom and her younger brother Matthew relocate to Mountain Brook, Alabama, which is a posh suburb of Birmingham. Natalee attends the Mountain Brook High School, where she thrives. She is part of the National Honor Society, the dance team, and she's a member of various clubs. She's super involved high school student. She actually received a full academic scholarship to the University of Alabama.
Boo.
Where she was planning on following a pre-med path. So she wanted to be a doctor.
Okay.
So she graduates at the top of her class in May of 2005. Her future is super bright, and she is ready for her life to start. So right after graduation, Natalee and 123 of her classmates head to Aruba for a senior trip. So this is not school sponsored, but it's supervised, kind of. Did you go on one? Did you go on a senior trip?
Our senior trip? No, I didn't, because I cut my school's trees down as part of a senior prank. Yes, I'm ashamed of it. Okay, I'm not very proud, but I was suspended and I wasn't allowed to participate in any of the, final events of the year. And so instead, my mom just flew me to Hawaii to go hang out with my sister in paradise. So
damn, but that sounds even better.
Yeah, it was better. But the class trip that my schoolmates went on that I didn't go on was they went to Schlitterbahn. Do you know what Schlitterbahn is?
What's that?
It's a water park.
Is that in
It's the,
oh, I was like, is that in Germany?
It's the hottest, coolest time in Texas. Schlitterbahn, bahn, 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 bahn. It's one of the biggest water parks, I want to say, in the nation. Maybe not. I don't know. Maybe that's what everything in Texas is labeled as, the best thing ever, the biggest thing ever, and it's really not.
Because it's from Texas.
Yeah. But anyways, so that was our class trip. But that was sponsored by the school. You went in the school buses, and teachers were there chaperoning and stuff like that. But this sounds like it was not that. But it was maybe a tradition. Every year there's a massive trip, or was this kind of a one-off?
That's true. Yeah, because my school did it. I didn't go on the trip. But my school, they went to, I want to say they went to Cancun
Damn.
But it's not like sponsored by the school. Like the school doesn't pay for it, but it's like organized by like the parents and like the upperclassmen. But they do it each year for each new graduating class.
That's crazy.
So, yes. Yeah. So this is supervised. This trip is. There are 7 adult chaperones who join this trip, but it's just kind of like they're just there to check in on the kids. And they're not there to like track their every move, but they're just like
in case something goes wrong, there's an adult
there.
Yeah.
Exactly. There's an adult. Now, the students are on their own for the most part, and the majority of them are like 18, which is the legal drinking age in Aruba. And apparently, they were getting pretty wild.
Yeah, duh. That's why these trips sound insane to me. Like, first of all, I don't know. My parents would be like, hell no, you ain't going to Aruba or Cancun to get drunk with a bunch of high school classmates. Like, are you kidding me? Like, they already know how that's going to end. Like, I'm either going to be in jail, I'm going to die, or, I mean, that's pretty much the only 2 outcomes.
Or both.
Yeah. So, yeah, okay. They all got drunk. Continue.
So it's definitely, it's kind of like Fear and Loathing. Like,
hey, I just read that book.
They are like waking up, drinking. They are pounding drinks all day. It was so rowdy that the hotel they were staying in, the Holiday Inn, told them that they would not be welcome to come next year.
They're like, we don't care.
No, I mean like this group, because they do it each year.
At Aruba?
Not this group, but
Okay. So the next year, the next graduating class,
graduates would not be able to come.
Damn, dude, that would only make me feel more badass. Like if we were the last class to do it, we were so rowdy that we got that taken away from everybody. Like, yeah, that's epic. That's all you could ever, I'm thinking now as an 18-year-old, right? Okay, so I'm just saying.
Yeah.
That'd be pretty sick.
Yeah, and our girl Natalee, she is engaging in all of this. She is drinking all day. She's letting loose. She actually misses 2 of the morning check-ins with her chaperones because she is so hungover from the night before.
Damn.
So safe to say, it's an all-out wild time.
And how long were they supposed to be out there for?
They were there for 6 days.
Jeez, that's a lot of partying, dude.
Yeah, even for being 18 years old, like that's a lot. And like, so when I was doing my research on this case, and I was researching this element of it, it made me think of, because it's like a similar time period. It made me think of Laguna Beach.
Oh,
when they go to Cabo for spring break.
Yes, that's true. And that's exactly what this is like.
That's exactly what it made me think of, because they do that. It made me think of Esteban. I'm in Cabo, I'm 16, and I'm drunk.
Oh my God. Laguna Beach is a guilty pleasure that, I don't know. I hold that show sacred in my heart. I used to watch that with my sister.
No, yeah. I would watch it like after school. I feel like it holds a special place in both of our hearts. We love Laguna Beach.
Team LC, Lauren Conrad.
No, I'm Team Kristen. Esteban. I'm Team Kristen.
You would be on Team Kristen.
Yeah, I really just brought that up so I could do my Kristen Cavallari impression.
Let's hear it one more time.
Esteban, my car is donezo.
That's good, babe. It's really good.
Is that your favorite impression I do?
I think that's going to be the preview for this episode.
All right, cool. Okay.
All right, so she missed 2 of her check-ins.
She misses 2 of her check-ins. It is Sunday, May 29th. It's the last day of their trip. Oh, and while I was going through my notes, I was thinking of this. So this all kind of goes down on May 30th of 2005.
Oh.
Which is 20 years to the day of when we are recording this.
Nice.
Isn't that crazy?
That is cool.
It's so weird. So Sunday, May 29th, last night of their trip, Natalee and her friends go to a very popular club called Carlos and Charlie's. It's a bumpin' spot in downtown Orenstead. It's very popular with both the tourists and the locals. So that night, they're out, they're dancing. Natalee and a group of her friends meet a 19-year-old Dutch student named Joran Vandersloot, who is also on vacation. Joran is charismatic, tall, well-dressed. Also, sidebar, he looks kind of like Paul Wall if Paul Wall were a dork.
Okay, got it.
So if that gives you a good visual, he's tipping on fofos wrapped in faux vogues. So he's there with two of his friends, Deepak and Satish Kalpo, who are students from Suriname. Do I need to tell you what Suriname is?
Yeah, but how old are these kinfolk?
They're like 19.
Okay, so they're around the same age. Okay,
Yeah.
where is Suriname up?
Suriname, it is a country in South America, kind of near Venezuela. Fun fact, it is one of the only countries in South America that has no Spanish influence. They don't speak Spanish.
Oh, I
They're
see it. It looks
either.
like Suriname is how you spell it?
Yeah, but it's pronounced Suriname.
Suriname, I see it.
Geography lesson. So yeah, so they meet up with this group of guys. They're on vacation, and get this, they're also staying at the same Holiday Inn.
Holler.
No way, it's quite the link up. So
Sneaky link.
Yeah, sneaky link. So these three dudes, they kind of join the group of students and they party with them. So around 1:30 a.m., the club closes. Everyone's leaving. Natalee leaves the club with Joran and the Kalpo brothers. Someone from her group sees her, and apparently she's walking down the street with these guys, heading in the direction of the beach. She's stumbling around, but these guys are walking with her, and they're holding her up. They turn a corner, and her classmate loses sight of her.
So this is a little nighttime beach action we're talking about?
Correct.
How romantic.
Well, not...
Sorry, that was my cowbell.
Well, terrible timing because it's not romantic.
Okay, sorry.
Because this is the last anyone has ever seen of Natalee Holloway.
Oh.
You're so fucking unhinged. Okay. So let's pause right there. Imagine that you are that classmate of Natalee's and you see her go off with these dudes. Like, what would you do if you were in that situation?
You
like,
grab...
Exactly. Like, wouldn't you grab her or say something to her? This classmate doesn't do that.
Especially because there's nobody else that knows Natalee with her, right? So it's just her on her own with a bunch of strangers, basically.
Exactly. Well, I mean, I guess they like kind of knew them and like they were like friends from the night. So maybe because they were so young, they just didn't know any better. They were like, oh, she's just going to go hang out with these guys.
Yeah, no, but for sure would grab her or be like, I'm coming with you. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
You
yeah, for
never
sure.
let anybody go off alone. So
No. But and, like, also, I feel like this is one of the first cases that was really big in the media, about, like, a young woman going missing while on vacation. So, I think it's easy to, like, look back now that we have the knowledge that this is something that can happen, like, worst case scenario. Maybe because this was, like, 2005,
oh yeah.
maybe these kids just weren't as aware of the dangers of that yet, you know? Okay, so this is the part in the episode where I think we should mention that we're both drinking a can of LaCroix.
We're both drinking LaCroix, but I just finished mine and threw it in the trash.
Sick, dude. Tell them what your flavor is. What was
It
your
was,
flavor?
let me see, blackberry or something like that.
Black raspberry.
Black raspberry, baby.
And
Yeah,
mine is lime.
I was gonna get limoncello, which is my favorite, but I like purple things, especially like to eat, like purple flavored things, grape flavored
Oh,
things,
yeah. You love
berry
grape.
flavored thing. Yeah, so I looked at this one, I was like, damn, that's gonna be good. I liked it.
You liked it? Okay. LaCroix has a new flavor and it's called Sunshine, and there's no description of what it's supposed to taste like. So I've been super hesitant to purchase it every time I'm at the store. But if you, the listener, if you know what flavor Sunshine is, can you drop it in the comments?
Here's my experience with sparkling water.
Okay.
I buy a 12 pack. I'm really excited about the flavor because it sounds sweet in my brain, like blackberry, raspberry bullshit. And
Yeah.
then I unload them in my fridge. They get nice and cool. I take one out. I take a sip. I'm immediately let down because in my head, I always think it's going to be way sweeter than it is. It's not. And then, over the next 2, 3 days, I probably drink one or two more. And then I hate them. And then I have a bunch sitting in my fridge until you come over and finish them for me.
Hell yeah.
Cool. Cool segue.
Okay, cowbell boy. Let's get back into the story. Let's also take down the mood a little because this is dark.
Okay.
So the next morning, Natalee doesn't show up for the airport shuttle, and her friends start to worry. Her suitcase is packed. Her passport, phone, and ID are still in her hotel room, and her bed is completely untouched. So they tell the chaperones, who haven't heard from her or seen from her either. So they panic and they contact her parents to essentially be like, we lost your daughter. Oof. And this obviously raises concerns with them because Natalee is a very responsible girl. She would have at least been in contact with somebody like, hey, I'm going to be late for my flight. Hey, I didn't make it home the night before. Like, she would reach out to someone. So her parents get off the phone, and because her stepdad is wealthy and well connected, they charter a private jet and immediately fly to Aruba. So the Holloways arrive in Aruba. They report her missing, and they go to the hotel that Natalee was staying in. And they talk to the manager and they ask her, obviously, about Natalee, but they also ask them about Yoron because he apparently was staying in the same hotel and she was last seen with him. And they're like, have you heard of this person? Do you know this name? Are they familiar to you? And the manager is like, oh, yeah, I know who that is. He is a 17-year-old local. So he is not a 19-year-old tourist. He's a 17-year-old local, known for creeping on tourists, and he comes in frequently.
Dang. Okay.
And to make matters worse, his father is a high-powered attorney who works for the Aruban government.
Weird.
Yeah. So he kind of has a reputation for doing really sketchy things and getting into trouble, and his dad just constantly bails him out. So that is the situation here. That is the road that we are heading down.
Okay.
So now that they have this info, they are hot on the trail. Aruban police give them the address to the Vandersloot's residence, which I don't know if that is typical Aruban police practice. I don't know. Maybe I need to brush up on my Aruban law enforcement, but they give them the address to their residence. So they get there and they demand to speak to Joran regarding the whereabouts of their daughter. So they have to call him home because he's out at another club creeping. So he comes home and the lies start. At first, he denies knowing her, but when this is proven false, he comes up with a story. So Joran's initial story, he says that he dropped Natalee off at the Holiday Inn at around 2 a.m. He changes the story, saying that he left her alone on the beach because she wanted to go see sharks. Then later still, he claims that she collapsed and he panicked, so he just left her. So it's clear that something is off because his story is just constantly changing. But yet his friends, Deepak and Satish, they back him up inconsistently. Like stories don't really align.
Yeah.
So he gets arrested.
Johan?
And then released. Yeah, Joran. He gets arrested. And then he's released. And then he's arrested again. And each time his story like shifts, okay?
Okay.
So now he's got a new story. He says that Natalee wanted to have sex, then she had a seizure, and then he left her, and he doesn't know what happened.
What? That's the worst story of them all.
The worst variation, yes. And then he comes up with yet another one. He says that him and his friends tried to drive her to the hotel, but she stumbled as she tried to get into the car, and she wouldn't accept their help. So they leave her, and they drove away.
How far
and as they're driving, what?
How far was the beach where she was last seen walking towards to the hotel? Do you know?
Not super far. It's all in like downtown, like the downtown of this city.
Okay.
So probably a couple of blocks.
Okay.
So yeah, they try to drive her home. She says no. They drive away. As they're driving away, they see a dark-skinned man in a black shirt, similar to what security guards wear, approach her. Man, he's got so many stories and so many variations of stories. It's crazy. Very hard to keep track of. But without any real evidence, there's no body. They have nothing to hold these guys on. They keep getting released. How annoying is that?
Very.
Very. Super annoying. So while these bozos are wasting the detectives' time, a massive search and rescue operation is being carried out for Natalee. Ton of volunteers from Aruba and the United States jump in to help out. The Dutch Marines come in and they carry out a very thorough search along the coastline. Natalee's parents post up there, and they are actually given a room to stay in at the Holiday Inn for the duration of the search. But unfortunately, these efforts are in vain and no trace of Natalee is ever found.
Okay. I'm doing a quick Google search to see exactly how big Aruba is and like how long it would take me to drive
Very
across
small.
it. Yeah. So from north to south, which is I think it's the longest point, is only 20 miles, 6 miles wide. So only total area looks like about 69 square miles. So literally you can get from bottom of the island to the top in about 30 to 40 minutes. Just to put it in perspective, like what we're talking, like as this search is unfolding, as you tell it, that's the size we're talking about. It's pretty tiny.
Exactly. It's very small. But yet they don't find anything. And without a body, they don't have enough evidence to charge anyone with a crime.
Right.
Yeah. And I think that's good to put into perspective, like how small the island is. And yet they're still not able to find anything.
Yeah. Yeah, 20 miles is nothing.
Yeah. So the media storm is unrelenting. Natalee's face is everywhere. It's on news channels, morning shows, magazine covers. And Beth Holloway, her mother, becomes a very familiar voice. She advocates relentlessly for her daughter. She takes every opportunity that she can to speak about her, to speak about the situation, to talk about this man, Joran van der Sloot, who obviously is connected in some way to the disappearance of her daughter. She is out there speaking about it. All right. Now, let's fast forward to the year 2010. This is a big year for the case. All right. So on March 29th of 2010, Joran van der Sloot reaches out to the lawyer who was representing the Holloways, offering to disclose where Natalee's body was and the details of her death in exchange for a payment of $250,000, with $25,000 of that to be paid up front.
What?
Yeah. So the lawyer informs the FBI, and they set up a meeting in Aruba on May 10th. So they wire Joran $15,000 to his account in the Netherlands, and then they give him about 10 grand in cash. And this whole interaction was recorded by some undercover agents in Aruba. So he talks to them and he gives them his tip. But it was later revealed that the information that he provided to them was false. He said that she had a seizure, died, and he hid her body in this house, but it turns out the house wasn't even built at the time she went missing. So, yet another dead end.
So do they take the money back, or how does that work?
No, they don't take the money back, but we will circle back to it.
Okay.
So, yeah, I mean,
Can he get in trouble for giving false information?
Oh, yes, and he will. Don't worry.
Okay, we'll circle back.
We'll circle back. But in the meantime, Joran's got some money. He's got some coins. It wasn't enough for him to take their daughter from them. He has to extort them as well, apparently. So on May 30th, 2010, exactly 5 years after she went missing, also 15 years from today, he decides to take his money, his cash, and go to a poker tournament in Lima, Peru.
Okay.
Because that's what anyone would do, right? You know?
Mm-hmm.
He's at the baccarat table, and he's not doing great. He's losing quite a bit. but at the table sitting next to him is 21-year-old Stephanie Flores Ramirez. And now she's a local. She's a business student, and she is an avid poker player. And she's actually quite good. She has actually won about $15,000. So he's chatting her up. He's flirting with her. And they seemingly hit it off because surveillance video shows him taking her to his room in the casino's hotel later that evening.
Jackpot.
All right, let's take it down. Let's get serious.
Okay,
here.
sorry.
3 days later, cleaning workers discover Stephanie's body wrapped in bed sheets hidden in the room. She had been beaten to death.
What? He tried to hide her in a hotel room?
Yeah, and the room was registered under his name.
The fuck?
And some of his belongings were still in the room. Like, he's clearly guilty. He's the only suspect. Like, this guy is stupid. He's dumb. Yeah, so again, he's the only suspect. Clearly, he's on the run. And on June 3rd, they arrest him in Chile, and he was extradited to Peru. He ends up confessing to killing Stephanie after he lost his cool when she accessed his laptop without his permission and found some information that connected him to Natalee. He also says he felt triggered because of the scrutiny that he faced after Natalee's disappearance. Whatever, dude. Finally, on January 11th of 2012, Joran Vandersloot pleaded guilty to murdering Stephanie Flores Ramirez and received a 28-year prison sentence.
Damn.
Thoughts?
So she went into his computer. Like, that's kind of weird too. Like,
according to him, that's what he claims happens, but he comes up with a lot of stories.
And he said, as part of that story, like, oh, I did this because she was going through my computer and found information that linked me to Natalee. Like, he's also implicating himself. Like, what? That doesn't make any sense.
Exactly. Yeah. So whether or not that story is true, we don't know, but that is what he claims happened. And then the fact that he also tries to blame it on oh, I just snapped because everyone was after me because of, Natalee's disappearance. And it's like, well, dude, we all know you know something.
Yeah, it's like he wants to admit to it. I mean, and has, but just hasn't admitted truthfully. He's like,
exactly.
Give me some money, I'll tell you where she's at because I killed her. But then that led to nowhere. It's like, I have proof that I killed her in my laptop. So I guess,
all right, dude.
Did that lead to anything? The police looking through his laptop or anything like that?
That did not lead to anything. No.
So another lie, I guess.
Just another story.
Another rabbit hole.
Another dead end, another rabbit hole. But that is not the end of this story. So while he is on the run from murdering Stephanie Flores, Joran is indicted on charges in the U.S. District Court of Northern Alabama for extortion and wire fraud.
Holler.
Yes, because of the game that he played with Natalee's parents. However, he is not extradited to the U.S. to face those charges until 2023. So for over 10 years, he's been serving his prison sentence for an unrelated murder in Peru. He's sent to the U.S., and in a shocking turn of events, as part of a plea deal, he finally confesses to the murder of Natalee Holloway. He says this is the final confession. He says, in the early morning hours of May 30th of 2005, he took Natalee to the beach where he made sexual advances towards her, which she refused. When she resisted, he became enraged and beat her on the head with a cinder block, killing her.
Damn.
Then he dragged her body into the ocean.
Jeez. Well, and weren't there two of his friends with him? Or I guess at that point, maybe they left?
He doesn't mention them in his confession, but they were there as they walked to the beach. So whether or not they are involved, I guess we will never know because they have told so many different stories. Like whether this is the truth or not, like,
yeah,
I guess we will never know. But at least at this point, he is saying, yes, I did kill her.
Yeah.
And I put her in the ocean. So, I mean, I guess for Beth Holloway, for Natalee's family, it took them 18 years, but they finally get some answer. They get some form of closure. You know, at least he's owning up to the fact that he killed her.
I wonder if there's any part of them that doesn't believe that story.
What do you mean?
He's like, because he's lied so much to that point, and
yeah, there could be more to the story.
There could be more to it, and yeah, like I wonder if it's satisfying closure for them. You know?
Yeah.
Because like even thinking about throwing her in the ocean, like I don't know.
Wouldn't she have washed ashore?
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
They did pretty extensive efforts.
Right. Like I assume they searched the ocean, you know? And
they did.
Yeah, that's weird. I wonder if he I was gonna say, like, even if he like tied her down with cinder blocks, like that would probably make it easier for them to find her. But I don't know. Seems weird. But anyways, yeah, sketch.
It's weird, but it's a confession nonetheless. And as part of his plea deal, he receives a 20-year prison sentence, which is to run concurrently with his 28-year prison sentence for murder and his additional 18-year prison sentence for drug trafficking that he picked up while he was incarcerated.
Oh, snap. And what about the extortion thing?
That's what he got. He got 20 years. He pled guilty.
Oh, okay. Damn. Okay.
Yeah. So he is currently carrying out all of his sentences in the, oh crap, I should have looked up the pronunciation of this, but I freaking didn't. Chayapaka prison. He's carrying out his sentences in Peru. All right.
All of them?
Yes, because they're concurrent.
Okay.
Except for the 18-year one that's tacked on at the end. And he is set to be released in 2045.
How old is he going to be at that point? So he was 17 in 2005.
Well, here, I can look it up right quick.
Let's see. 58 years old.
58 years old.
That's not even like...
Not even that much.
Yeah,
he killed two people.
Yeah, he should be going away a lot longer than that, I feel like.
Yeah. He could still have like some years left after he gets out of prison.
Yeah, I'm always surprised by the sentences. Like at the end of your stories, it's like the most gruesome thing I've ever heard. He only got 15 years. I'm like, what?
And he got 7 years time served.
Yeah, it's like he just took a lifetime away from a bright future, you know?
Yeah.
Should be 1 for 1. Like he should go away
bright
forever.
Futures. Exactly. Yes.
Yeah, 2.
It's so sad. Yeah. Terrible. And that is sadly the end of the road for this story.
Did his
That's all
dad?
I have for you.
Well, I have a question. Did his dad try to intervene throughout his trials or anything like that?
Do you mean like the Like the investigation in Aruba or his trials?
I don't know. Like, did his dad just try to save his son?
Well, it's heavily implied. Like, no one's ever really come right out and said it. But for the investigation in Aruba, it is speculated. I'm going to sound like Nancy Grace here, and this is one of Nancy's biggest cases too. But it's speculated that the Aruban police kind of did a botched investigation because of who his father was and his heavy connection to the Aruban government.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like one of those maybe dicey situations there. I'm not entirely sure when it comes to his other cases. I think that they were pretty cut and dry. I mean, what could he do? What could his dad do in Peru? And he also killed a girl and left her in the room that was under his name with a bunch of his stuff. So,
yeah.
All right. Well, that is all I have for you for this episode.
Cool.
Do you have any final thoughts?
Well, I do have some just words for our fans. If you like this episode, make sure to like. Can you like podcast episodes? I don't even know. Is it like YouTube?
I don't know. If you're viewing this on YouTube, please like us.
And if you're listening to us or wherever you're listening to us, subscribe, because we are trying to grow our subscriber count. Our goal is to hit 50 subscribers by when? By July 1st.
Where are we at now?
We're at 36 subs. So tell your friends about us. Tell them to subscribe. If you haven't subscribed and you listen to us, what the hell are you doing?
What are you even doing?
But no, super cool case. I like it, and I can't wait for the next one, which will be coming out in a week, right?
Yes, in a week.
Are you ready for the next?
I am. We are going to be covering the case of JonBenet Ramsey, which is one of my favorite true crime cases to talk about. I'm pretty stoked.
I'm stoked as
it'll be great.
That's a cool case. I do know about that one.
It's a good case. A lot of theories.
Cool. Well, thank y'all for listening. We really appreciate it. And until next time, we will catch y'all on the flip side.
We'll catch you later. Bye-bye.